The goal of this video is to find the value of t star in the confidence interval for means using the t-chart that is on the back of your handout. The degrees of freedom, as I said earlier, is one less than the sample size, so I would write this down on that paper that I'm highlighting in yellow. And in symbols, we tend to write df for degrees of freedom is equal to n minus 1, where n is the sample size. We're going to take a look at 4 example problems, and then you'll try some in the Desmos. So let's take a look at the first example. What is the value of t star with degrees of freedom 13 and confidence level of 90%? So when you look at this chart, you can see degrees of freedom in the top left corner, and degrees of freedom is 13. So I'm going to highlight that row with the degrees of freedom 13. We want a confidence level of 90%. Down at the bottom of the paper it says confidence level, and there's 90%. So I want to use this column where it says 90%. And if I do that, you will see those two that row and column intersect at 1.771. So the t star is 1.771. Let's take a look at another example. So in this example, I want a value of t star with the degrees of freedom 7. So degrees of freedom 7. I'm going to look at this row that I'm highlighting in yellow. And this time I want a confidence level of 95%. So down at the bottom there's the 95%, which means I'm using this column. And I want to find out where those intersect. And it looks like they intersect at 2.365. So here the t star is 2.365. Let's take a look at a third example. It's a little different. So in this example, I want to know t star with a sample size of 15. So if the sample size is 15, that means the degrees of freedom is 15 minus 1, or 14. So I'm going to highlight the degrees of freedom row of 14. A common mistake would be use 15, but you got to make sure you use 14. And then I want a confidence level of 96%. So down here you can see 96. I'm going to highlight that column, and they overlap or intersect at t star to be 2.264. Let's do one more example when you're given sample size. So if you look at this example, I want a sample size of 25. That means the degrees of freedom is 1 less, 24, and I could explain that in class tomorrow. And I want a confidence level of 98%. So degrees of freedom 24. I'm going to highlight this row. And a confidence level of 98. So I want this column. So where do they overlap? You can see the screen, it's 2.492. So here t star is 2.492. At this point I want you to go back to the Desmos and complete the next couple slides.